Hi guys, in this video I want to take you through a really simple postpartum workout, something that is appropriate for women getting back into exercise 6 weeks postpartum after their checkup. For some women it might be possible to start doing this kind of thing earlier if they're feeling good. Now I want to share this with you for two reasons. One, because most women seem to think that getting back into exercise postpartum means just throwing themselves back into what they were doing before, right after their checkup with their doctor. And often these kind of exercises are too much and we need to build up into them. Lots of women don't ever get started because they're so intimidated by the level that they think they should be at. What I want to do is encourage women to start early and start with really gentle stuff and then build up from there. So in this workout, I'm going to take you through 2 simple mobility exercises, 2 simple core exercises, and 2 simple strength exercises that you can start really early postpartum. They just start to gently move the body, gently engage the core, and activate the glute muscles, the muscles in the bum, which are really, really important for pelvic floor function and for supporting your lower back. They don't put any pressure on your pelvic floor, and they allow you to start building into some movement while you're still healing. So let's get started. I want you to do this with me. So come onto all fours. We're going to start out on all fours, and we're just going to start by gently moving the spine, doing a gentle cat-cow. Okay, nothing revolutionary here, nothing particularly new. Most of you will have done this in yoga and Pilates. Okay, just gently moving the spine through full range of motion, sticking the bum out and then tucking the pelvis under. We're going to add in the breath, so breathing in as you lift your head up, let the belly drop down, and then as you breathe out, rounding the back and just pulling the tummy in just a little bit. Okay, so letting the tummy drop down, breathing into the belly, and then breathing out. Okay, this is how everything, exercise, movement should start postpartum. Okay, you just had a baby, and the first thing we need to do is just get everything moving. Your whole back will be really tight and really stiff. So you just got to start really gently. Okay, for the second movement, you're going to come into standing, and we're just going to do a gentle roll down. Okay, so we're going to tuck the chin, feel the stretch down the back of the neck, and then you're just going to roll down one vertebrae at a time. Okay, backs get so tight in this postpartum period. Let your shoulders hang down heavy, stick your bum out. Relax all the way down, and you might be stuck up here. You might feel like you can't go any further, everything feels so tight, and that's totally fine. What we're going to do is tuck the bum and just roll back up one vertebrae at a time, shoulders and then head, last thing. Okay, so let's go back down the same way that we just came up, just tucking the head, rolling down, go really nice and slowly, just go one vertebrae at a time. Just really loosening up the spine. And maybe you're stuck here, maybe you can go a little bit further. You just go wherever you can go. Just enjoy the stretch. Hang out at the deepest stretch you can. So maybe you're stuck up here, maybe up here. Just hang out there for a second, feel the stretch wherever the stretch is, and then roll back up. Okay, we're going to do that one more time. Roll down, all the way down. See if you can go 1 millimeter further this time than you went last time. Okay, don't push it, but just hang out there for a second. As you breathe out, just let everything go and just go 1 millimeter further. Awesome, and then just roll all the way back up. Now we're going to come down onto the floor for our strength exercises. We're going to do a couple of exercises to start to activate the glutes. Really, really important for supporting the pelvic floor and the back postpartum. So you're going to come down onto your shoulder and then roll onto your back. Okay, so feet about shoulder width apart, and we're going to do a glute bridge. So squeezing our bums, lifting our hips up off the floor,
pushing our feet into the floor and pushing your knees out a little bit. Okay, really good squeeze on the bum up at the top. A mistake that a lot of people make in the glute bridge, they have their feet too close together and then you can't fully activate the glutes. Okay, so you need to take your feet into abduction, abduction, taking your knees out and push the knees over the 4th and 5th toes. Really squeeze up at the top and back down. Okay, we're going to time this with the breath. So nice breath in into the tummy and lower ribcage like we talked about in the breathing video, and then as we breathe out, squeezing our bum all the way up to the top and back down. Okay, making sure your knees are going out slightly over those toes, and you don't want to have your feet too far away here because then you'll just feel the backs of your legs, your hamstrings. You want to make sure you have a kind of 90-degree angle at your knees at the top. Okay, we're going to do a few more of these. We're going to do about 10 of every exercise. Okay, you should be getting a nice burn on that bum. If you're feeling your lower back, you're probably overarching. So just tuck your bum a little bit and keep a nice neutral spine. Don't overarch, just because you'll feel a little dig in that lower back. Okay, last one. You can squeeze up at the top. Cool. Okay, so we're going to come onto our side into what I call the Jane Fonda position, and we're going to do a clamshell. Okay, so feet, bum and shoulders all in a straight line, and here we're going to open up our knee. Okay, you can see why it's called a clamshell. We're just opening up the knee, and again we're using that bum, that bum to lift the knee up, and we're getting some different fibers firing in those bum muscles. Okay, you don't want to have your feet too far forward, you won't feel it, and you also don't want to have your feet too far back. You want to have your feet in line with your bum and your shoulders. Okay, maybe a little bit forward of that. And I want to play around with it a little bit to really feel the glutes. Okay, we're going to do a couple more on this side. We're going to switch to the other side. Last one. Cool. Switch over. And exact same thing. Feet, bum and shoulders. Just lifting the knee up as far as you can. Now I'm a bit more flexible, I've got a bit more hip mobility on this side than I do on the other, so I'm able to get the knee up higher, but what you don't want to do is roll back. Okay, you want to keep those hips stacked, because otherwise you just won't be using your bum. You'll be getting your leg open wider, but you're not using the muscles that you're trying to use. Now the beauty of these two glute exercises is they start getting the right muscles working, but without putting pressure down on your pelvic floor while it's still healing. Great, and so we're going to do the same thing with a couple of core exercises. A couple of exercises that don't put pressure down on your pelvic floor, don't put too much pressure on your abdominal muscles. Come and roll onto your back. Okay, so we're going to just check back in with the breath. So one hand on your lower rib cage, one hand on your lower belly. Couple of breaths here. Okay, we don't want to be breathing up into the rib cage, and we don't want too much of a belly breath. Just a nice balanced breath. Okay, what we're going to do here is a heel slide. So take a breath into your tummy, lower rib cage, and then as you breathe out, you're going to straighten one leg out. I'm going to scoot up a little bit so you can see my leg. You straighten one leg out like this and just hover it just above the floor. I like to flex the toe, okay, and bring it back. And as you breathe out, the other side. Now pay attention that your hip, the opposite hip, doesn't come up. That stays down. Okay. And one hand on your tummy so you can feel what your tummy muscles are doing. Early on postpartum, this might be quite challenging. You might feel your tummy muscles kind of jumping out. You might also feel that if you have particularly weak muscles or if you have diastasis recti. It's totally fine. You might need to go down to an easier exercise But it might be that just the right level of challenge for you. If it's really hard to control, you might need to take it down, do something slightly easier to start with. And if it's if it's just like a little bit difficult to control, if you can kind of control those muscles, if you can think about stopping them from jumping out and actually successfully do that, then this might be a good level for you. Women are often surprised that this is that this is so difficult to control early postpartum. Okay, second exercise that we're going to do is an alternating knee raise. So we're just going to lift one leg up like this and put it back down. Okay, so again, breathing into the tummy. And as we breathe out, tummy comes back in, knee comes up. Breathe in as we put the foot down and again, if you're further down the process, if you had a baby a few months ago, you might feel like this is really easy. But if you've only just had a baby, if you're in this first 6 weeks, or if you're just going back to exercise after 6 weeks, you might really find it hard to control your abdominal muscles and feel they sort of bulge out as you lift your knee up. Just see if you can control those muscles by breathing into the tummy, breathing out, feeling them come back in, and then as you lift the foot up off the floor, see if you can stop them from bulging forward. It might be just as simple as that. Just a little bit of effort, just a little bit of conscious effort to stop that from happening. That doesn't mean suck your tummy muscles in. That means stop them from bulging out. Okay, that's it.
So that's it. That's a kind of sample postpartum workout for somebody who is maybe 6 weeks postpartum, maybe less, or you might be months postpartum and this feels right for you. But this is where exercise starts postpartum. When we talk about getting back into exercise in the first few weeks, this is what we mean. We don't mean going back to running or going back to a baby boot camp or some kind of HIIT class or CrossFit. We're talking about just starting with some really gentle exercises to engage the abdominal muscles, to engage the glute muscles, and to gently move the body through full range of motion, starting really small and getting bigger. This sort of exercise can really help you early on start to build strength, maintain mobility, and increase strength in the abdominal muscles. In those first few months postpartum, the body is still healing. So we want to start with gentle exercise to allow the body to continue to heal. This obviously isn't how you exercise for the rest of your life. This isn't how you have to exercise for the whole year postpartum. This is just stage one. This is just the very first workout. This is a bit of a mixture of level 1 and level 2 of my complete postpartum program, the online program, mainly level 1. From here, it's equally as important to gradually build up to more and more challenging exercises, because our daily lives are so much more strenuous than this, and we need to be able to cope with lifting babies, lifting children, lifting shopping, lifting all kinds of stuff. So this definitely isn't where postpartum exercise ends, but this is where it begins. For some of you, it might begin even easier than that because you might be in a really bad way. Let me know how you found this workout, if it was really, really easy, if it felt right, if it was hard. I'd really love to know.